in every fertile soil, and we would never, ever depend on a foreign resource or a foreign country for their resources again. But what are we doing today? We're depending on foreign resources. Everybody here has got a relative, or 10 of them, that don't have a job. And if they do have a job, it's for a low-paying wage. We all have the same heartaches, the same problems, and it all goes back to one plant, the tree of life. If you have somebody that believes in God, that's against cannabis, you need to tell them to look up the definition of Messiah. Messiah means the anointed one. What was the Messiah anointed with, one would ask? Well, look that up. The holy oil. What is the holy oil? The holy oil is cannabis flower, olive oil, and a few other herbs that I can't quite remember at this moment. If you look up the definition of cannabis flower, it is Hebrew for cannabis. We have been using cannabis for thousands of years. Jesus was prosecuted for healing with cannabis when he walked the earth. Here we are today with the same tribulations, the same problems, but we still have the same solution. And it is everybody needs to unite. You do not cast a stone at a social smoker. You do not cast a stone at a medical smoker. You do not cast a stone at a hemp protester. Because we're all talking about the same plant, from the same seed. The seed to the tree of life. Open up Genesis. It says, I give you all seed, bearing plants and herbs. Doesn't say except for cannabis. It says I give you all. I will break every law known to man to save my child's life. And if you don't have the courage to do it, I will help you. If you want a story to reference back to when you're fighting, reference my story. Because I'm educated. I'm ready to put someone in their spot. No one can tell me that cannabis isn't safe, because I know it is. Nobody can tell me that I can't give my child cannabis and I could give them children's Tylenol or Oxycontin or Demerol or ketamine. The scariest thing I ever seen was watching my son's heart stop after a doctor prescribed him fentanyl. Fentanyl will stop your child's heart and respiratory system like that. I watched it happen to Cash over 7 times. After that, the scariest thing of watching a kid is giving them Demerol or ketamine. The main side effect of ketamine next to death is hallucinations. If you've never watched a 2-year-old hallucinate, go to one of your childhood hospitals and relieve one of the parents that are sitting there assisting their child fighting an illness. It is the scariest thing you've ever seen. I replaced all those drugs with cannabis oil. My kid is documented as the Christmas miracle. My kid is documented as amazing and miraculous recovery. I was told that Cash will be referenced and talked about at the Huntsman Cancer Institute of America for years to come, and that he will go down in the bone marrow transplant Hall of Fame. The only missing link to Cash's story to the rest of the other people that didn't survive what he survived is cannabis oil. That's why I'm here talking to you today. I will tell everybody about cannabis oil. Nobody can prove me wrong. There's a book called The Emperor Wears No Clothes. It has a $100,000 reward if you can prove it wrong. It's been in print for almost 20-something years now. No one's claimed that reward because you can't. As you start digging through the history of cannabis and hemp, you will realize that in 1932, there was 26 different cannabis tinctures on the pharmacy shelves before it was legalized. If we legalize cannabis and hemp tomorrow, we can start industry again. I'm all about industry, and I'm about fighting cancer. Everything we have wrapped around our foods at home is wrapped in petrochemical plastic. Everybody asks me, Mike, how did Cash get cancer? I tell them, how didn't he? How didn't Cash get cancer? We're feeding our children McDonald's and Mountain Dews and Skittles, and we do not think twice about it. But we do not realize what it's doing to their bodies, and to the bodies of their children when they reproduce. Once everybody educates themselves, then they can educate the next group of people. And that's what these organizations need to do. I walked over 3 blocks that way. There is a farmer's market this morning. You guys need to be there. You have the right. No one can arrest you for going and telling the truth. And if they do arrest you, great. Go serve your time. Kids fighting cancer, they don't get to walk off the oncology floor because they're going to tap out. They got to sit there and they got to fight it. And so do we. Kids can't fight cancer alone. We got too many mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters locked up in jail over cannabis prohibition. We need to free them. Every day, 1,500 Americans die of cancer. That means we have a 9/11 every 2 days in the United States of America. We have been at war for 10 years. We have spent trillions of dollars. We have lost countless American lives, all in the name of 3,000. I'm not devaluing those lives. That was a horrific day. But every other day we have a 9/11. Every other day. Every day our rivers, our waters, our oceans, our environment is polluted by corporate America and their cure to cancer. We're polluted by the way they make our plastics. We're polluted by the way they make our clothing. Everything is tainted, and that is what we have to stand up against. I flew down here to help you guys fight because you're fighting, and I'll be at any event in the United States where I can make it to talk. I will not stop and I will not back down, and nor should you. Thank all of you for having me down here today. And remember, cannabis will be legal because we say it will be legal. And we, the people, are demanding the change that America deserves.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike High is from Montana, or Missoula, Montana. The doctor that you heard him reference, Mr. Ethan Russo, Dr. Ethan Russo, is also from Missoula, Montana. Cash High from Missoula, Montana, may be the child that the world looks at for the rest of eternity as what changed this world. We have a little baby story every December 25th that makes us spend billions of dollars just so we can, on December 26th, go back to playing with the toys we originally liked. This child is not a child that is just here to make money. This child is here to save lives. Cash has held on to his life. His family has made sure they've held on to his life. It's up to us to make sure we hold on to our children the way they've held on to theirs. We can't give up because the doctor says there's nothing we can do for your child. How many parents will sit down and understand that the doctor went to college? I'm not a doctor, I didn't go to college. There's nothing I can say to argue this man. That man did. And he didn't go to college. He didn't go to college to study how to save people from cancer. He had to experience it firsthand, just like his child has. The Cash High Foundation is way more than just Cashy. It's way more than just Mike. Nowadays, we go to hospitals around the nation, and we're trying to get more hospitals behind the understanding of the reggae runners. Little tiny hot, I'm sorry how to describe it, play school, big wheels that glide through the hospital hooked to IVs. So kids can still be kids even though they're fighting cancer in hospitals right now. We don't have to go to Montana to see his child. We have Children's Hospital right down the street. And I guarantee if you go to Children's Hospital right now, it's full of kids who are sick. It's full of kids who need cannabis. We're not going to sit there and smoke and get high. This is not what we're trying to do to children. We're trying to explain to people that cannabis oil saves lives. It doesn't float you on cloud nine. But this is why we're here today. Why we're here today is because Cannabis Village is making sure that we take the forefront in Ohio to begin to educate and teach people. We're not going to do that with our personal opinions. We're going to do that with fact. Mr. Michael Hyde backs up Ohio. He's here now for a reason. Because the Cash Hyde Foundation is here in Ohio. 100%. Through us, you'll find out all the information you need to know. Right now, he's passing out bracelets, and these are beautiful bracelets. Everybody keep your bracelets on. When you go home, visit the website, see the beautiful pictures of Cash, please. Because the more and more that we spread this story, the more and more parents become aware that they have to start taking care of their kids way more than they ever did before. Taking care of your kids doesn't mean going to McDonald's and giving them a Happy Meal. It doesn't mean making sure that they eat something. It's making sure that they eat right. Like he said, you don't go to a salad bar and decide to become a recreational health person. You're not using lettuce for recreation and fun. Marijuana is a vegetable. It is a fruit. I think it's both, honestly. It's a flower. Marijuana has so many beautiful names.